of a decision tree, and we just showed that how the decision tree works like. Okay. So in the decision tree, you have three kinds of nodes. One is the root node. The root node consists of no input, one or more outputs, right? And the intermediate node consists of one input and one or more outputs, and leaf node consists of one input and no output. Okay. And the content of any of the nodes is a test condition, and branch is the outcome of the test condition. Accordingly, the records were split and divided and kept into different nodes after the split. Okay. So now, traversing through this decision tree means you are framing the rules. That means if you want to find out what are all the rules that are possible, you have to traverse the entire decision tree. Then you will get the rules. You just go back to this slide. Inka the tree దాకా వచ్చేయండి. Suppose this is the tree. Okay, I'll stop there. Okay. See, now this is the tree, let us suppose. Then how do you get the rules from the tree? So you say that if refund is S, he is not a cheat. If the refund is no, then check the marital status. If he is married, then he is not a cheat. All married people are gentlemen. Okay? So then, otherwise, if the marital status is single or divorced, find out the taxable income. If it is less than 80,000, he is not a cheat. If it is greater than or equal to 80,000, he is a cheat. Okay. So these are the, how many rules are there? One rule, and second rule, third rule, fourth rule. So from root onwards, each path up to the leaf node, the traversed path gives one specific rule for your classification. So refund is equal to yes, he is not a cheat straight away. If refund is no, then check for the marital status, and it is married, he is not a cheat. That is the second row. And if the refund status is no, and he is single or divorced and has an income less than 80,000, he is not a cheat. If the refund is no, marital status is single or divorced, and amount is greater than 80,000, he is a cheat. Okay. So these are all the rules you are creating out of the decision tree. Rather, the rules are mentioned in this form of the tree. So you got the idea of rules and decision tree. That correlation is there. Okay. Is it clear to you? Now the thing is, how this is derived? This is derived from the 10 records you have given. Okay. So if you check those 10 records, the rules are satisfying those 10 records. So what is this? This is the model you have derived from those records. So then now the major criteria is, how do you decide these nodes, these conditions? Why should you check refund is yes or no? Why not marital status? Because I have shown you there are multiple trees possible with these conditions. So now the issue is, how do you then go ahead with some kind of optimal tree? Okay. How do you decide the test condition? That's what we are supposed to explore now. Okay. Next, Hunt's algorithm. You just go to the next. Now, what is the general structure of this Hunt's algorithm? Let D be a set of training records that reach a node T. So you have a node, your root node, that is the initial set of training records. Let it be there. And if dt contains records that belong to the same class yt, then t is a leaf node labeled as y. That means you imagine that
వెల్కమ్ చెప్పడానికి వెళ్ళావా?
Hello. So, if now, if you look at the total number of entries, what are all the possibilities? One is the dt contains records. There are two possibilities. One is that dt will be empty totally. The node will be empty. If you consider any node, there is a node could be empty, or the node may contain records of the same class. Two extreme conditions I am talking. Okay? One extreme condition is that node consists of records of the same category. Second option is that record could be empty. That node could be empty. No records will be there in the node. There are two extreme conditions. So, if you do not have any records in the node, then what does it records are belong? So, what should be the label there? Its parent is there, right? So, in its parent, how many records are there? What is the majority records that are possible there? That could be the class label for this. Suppose your parent node, you have some condition binary split like that. In the split yes or no you have given. For yes condition there are 10 records. And no condition there are no records at all. Then what should be the label for that? Obviously that should reflect the parents things. So that means what happens? All the 10 are yes. Whatever. Suppose there are 10 records there. All the 10 records have come to yes side. So there is no yes and no condition now. Okay. There is no opposition party. All the people jumped into the ruling party, let us suppose. Then what happens? The entire assembly will consist of only single bunch. Then avastanda migration ante. Okay. So there will be a single bunch. So that is the class label. Okay. So all the MLAs belong to the ruling party only, no opposition. Okay. Right? If I give you an analogy kind of thing, entropy means unruliness. That means, I said initially, I have shown you in my previous class, there are 5 plus category items and 5 minus category items. So what is that? In the group you have different people together. So there, suppose you also consider, in assembly, let us suppose opposition and the ruling party members are almost identical with a margin of 1 or 2. Then both will be strong and there will be good fight, right, in the assembly. So that means entropy is there. Okay. Suppose in the same assembly, no opposition is there like in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Okay. Or only one MLA will be there, or no MLAs even, that person also shifts the party, 0. Then the entire ruling party will go ahead with. There is no question of any unruliness or issues in the assembly, right? Whatever mass says is ultimate length, okay? So, that is an example for your entropy. If the thing is balanced, okay, then there is entropy and disorder. So, you should have certain condition to divide them. The condition should be such that you get maximum number of elements of one particular class get segregated into one of the sides. In such a way, you have to break up the stuff. For that, we are having the concept of entropy and all, on which we are ruling. We are dividing the things. Okay. Now, says if dt contains records that belong to the same class yi, then T is a leaf node, label it as yi. If D is an empty set, then T is a leaf node labeled by the default class yd. Then, if D1 dt contains records that belong to more than one class, use an attribute test to split the data into smaller subsets. Recursively apply the procedure to each subset. Okay. So now the idea is okay, but generally how it will be? These two are the extreme cases. Containing all records or not having any records are extreme cases. For the time being, forget about the extreme cases. If you consider the general case, in general case the entire set will have multiple records of different categories. Do you agree? That's how the thing will be. Okay. Now, in such case, when there are multiple records of different classes, what is the idea of classification? By the time you reach the leaf nodes, you should have only one category of records segregated to that. Suppose if that part is yes, if I say the records in that specific split should be of S type only. But normally that will not happen. Suppose if you have 100 records there, if 90 are of S type and 10 are of no type also, you consider the majority there, it is 90%, and you say that that belongs to S. Because this is not an exact science, I told you long back, this is a statistical thing. Okay. So if 90% are there, that threshold, you will say that yes, this belongs to S type. Because we have hardly taken 10 records for your example sake, but if you look at it real time, you will have several thousands and lakhs of records in the tree. Okay. So in such case, you have to see that the framing is very, very appropriate there. So you will see to become a leaf node, because if you still keep on testing, you can keep on testing on different attributes, you can break the things and all, but that causes overfitting problem. What is overfitting, we will see at the end. Okay. So I will not talk all those things at this stage, because at the beginning stage. So I will talk in a very simple terms. Okay. So in the leaf node, the idea is you have come to a leaf node means the records there ideally all belong to one class or a majority with some proportionate percentage they belong to one class. Then you can terminate the stuff there, saying that yes, this is the kind of condition. But suppose if you have 50 of class A and 50 of class B, then you can terminate the node. You have to further split them on some conditions. That is, are you clear with that to this extent? So, dt contain, then in such case you have to apply the procedure each subset. See, we have to first of all have, so you have 100 records in which there are 60 plus type and 40 minus type, or 50 class A, 40 class B. Then we should have a splitting criteria. how the splitting criteria should be. If it is very ideal with some test condition, all the 60 A's go to one side and all the 40 B's goes to another side, then it is very ideal. It cannot happen. So with this condition you may have some split first. Then you have to apply further splits. Or your yes and no. Oh, ఇది షేర్ అవట్లేదా? So I have the dot దగ్గరగా ఓకేనా. Now you have the total elements set consisting of dt here. Okay. So now you have the elements, some circles and some plus letters. Now what is our aim here? Our aim is to see that you apply some test condition and find that which is the best split to deal with this. So what are the attributes you have there in your case? You have the refund, you have the refund status, right? You have the other thing is, I have to write legibly. You have the refund status, you have marital status, okay, and you have the other is like income. అదేంటి ఇక్కడ రాసినంత లెజిబుల్ గా అక్కడ రావట్లేదు. ఇట్స్ కమింగ్ ఇన్ ఏ డిఫరెంట్ వే. ఓకే, ఇన్కమ్, నేను ఇన్కమ్ నేను చాలా విలక్షణాలు రాశాను, అక్కడంతా చాలా షావీగా వచ్చింది. నేను వండరింగ్ ఒక స్టిల్ ఇట్ ఈస్ వెరీ వండరింగ్. What I wrote here is different from that. Something you have to ask them, and it's not the way I have written it. So, whatever it is, anyhow, we have these attributes. So now the question is, okay, we have to split this. So how do you split this? On refund status do you split, or on marital status you split, or on income you split? How do you split? Which one you should take? That is the first criteria. The criteria here is, yes, suppose you have taken up the refund status. So if you split on refund status is a binary, yes or no. So if you split on that, how these things will be? Certainly you will have two subsets, right? Refund status yes some things and refund status no some of the things. So here if you look at your data, you have 10 records, right? Out of which 7 are no and 3 are yes. So you have 7 records this way, 3 records this way. You have total 10 records here. Okay. So this is how your refund status is. On refund status, if you split, you got the things like this. Okay. Now, but if the refund status is yes, not 7 plus 3. Sorry, that is total cheat or not cheat plus 3. I'm sorry for that. Here, now you have to look at the data and see how many had refund status yes. So suppose if there are 4 members with yes, those 4 records will come here. If for no there are 6, you will have 6 records there. 6 plus 4 will be your 10. Now, once you have these 6 records here, in these 6 records again, you will have some plus and dots, right? Okay, some plus and dot. In our case, you have in the total, you have, okay, I'll exactly put the thing. You have 7 people with yes, right? So no cheats are 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 I will put. And 3 pluses are there. So you forget about rest of the things. Okay. Exactly I will put 10 things. 3 cheats and 7 gentlemen you have in this side. Now you have 6 records by applying. The condition you have applied is, what is the refund status? So on refund status, if you apply, so refund status yes records will come to the right side. Refund status no records will go to the other side. So they are 6 and 4. You have the things here. Now you have this 6 and 4. You have to check how many of 6 are, among the 6 how many are the zeros and how many are plus. You have to check. Okay, got my point? Then what is the condition you will check? If all the 6 belong to the same category, then you need not apply. Say that the leaf node, and what is the category type, you check and you say that that belongs to that category. But if it doesn't satisfy that, then for your refund status is equal to yes, you got all the people with no cheat only. So no cheat is 3, right? I think 3 no cheats have come. I don't remember, I have to see the data. So 3 plus 7 or something, it is split like that. So what happened is, into the category refund status is equal to yes, who all segregated into this category are no cheats only. So as all these things belong to the same category, this is considered as a label, leaf node, and you can say you are done with it. Got my point? You can say that you are done with it. All the points are like this. And with the no cheat, if you look at, the remaining things are still having the combination of cheat and no cheat, right? So this should be split here. Now again you have to check on which attribute I have to split. You already checked on refund status. So the remaining attributes you cross check. On them how do I split? So check with all those things. So here, in order to decide here, you have the 10 things. I said refund status. Why is refund status means? you have to actually basically వచ్చిందా డేటా లోడ్ చేస్తాను చూడండి జస్ట్ weekend. Here what you will do is you will check with each and every attribute the entropy part, okay, because why should you split on marital status only, right? That is the condition. Do you agree with me? Why should you split on refund status or marital status? Why should you? Means what you will do is, okay, I have split on marital status. So once you split on marital status, you will have two conditions or three conditions. Let us say two conditions, married and others. Let it be binary split. Sure. Yes, next slide please. See, it has done on refund status yes and no. Okay, so don't cheat. Refund status yes is don't cheat. So refund status yes, everybody is a don't cheat. So you need not worry about that. That is a leaf note. Say that there are all no cheats. And refund status no means now don't cheat as well as cheats. So don't cheat you have put. Now next condition you have tried is on the no side on marital status you have. Okay, and marital status married means again no cheat. So that means in the iteration you are applying the Hunt's algorithm. What the Hunt's algorithm says? Initially you check whether initially you have all the records belong to the same category or you have empty records. So in the first split on the left side you have all the records belonging to the same thing, so just terminate there, call it as a leaf node. Then otherwise the second thing is if it is no there. Yes, yes. Okay, so here if the other side the refund is yes you have put, but here you have combination both the things. Okay, when you have that combination you have to again split this because the criteria is not met. So now you will check the refund status. Here yes, this no cheat. Now on what attribute you have to split again. So you have the remaining attributes. So you have the condition, that is your entropy part. Before showing that, okay, you found that marital status is the best thing to split. Then you made it single and divorced, married. Why this split also I will explain you in the subsequent steps. Then married, no cheat. All the married people are gentlemen. Okay. So that means none of you are gentlemen yet. Then married is no cheat. Okay. Then single and divorced, again you have a combination. So all the combinational things which are we have to split, they are shown with blue border, and the leaf node is a thick black bordered one. Now you have to have a condition again. That is, what is the other condition? Taxability. So taxable income less than 80, greater than or equal to 80. Here don't cheat, here it is a cheat. Okay, it has satisfied, now it has exhausted all these records. So this will go till you get all the attributes on which the split is exhausted. Okay. Still, maybe if it is done, you have to reinvent the wheel maybe. And of course, this being a very small example, but if it is a very big example, maybe you have to start with again. That may not happen generally, but this is one by one you will test with all the things in the decision tree. And this is marital status, the attributes are like this, and you have the tree finally terminated like this. So for this the condition is all should belong to one class. But here what people say is they put a threshold. That is, there should be a validity for what you are saying. Suppose if the threshold is not met with, what happens? You apply the conditions again and again. You see that some condition is stipulated condition is satisfied for at least 3 records, 1 branch, and for 2 records, 1 more branch. If I want to give you an example, how the difficulty comes into picture like that. Suppose I want to classify you based on marks and other things, some kind of classification. Okay. One best split is, if I split by your roll, what happens? You will have 56 class, 56 labels, and each label will be a unique person. So the entropy is 0. Got my point? If I split you into 56 divisions, it is a perfect classification. You say that your entropy is 0 after that. So 56 members in one box, right? And then 56 different splits. Then yes, entropy is 0 and the best classification. But logically thinking, is it a viable one? Is it the one you expected? Your expectation is not that, right? On some logical things we want to split, but certainly not on not of this kind of thing. Okay, so you should have a sufficient number of records also before deciding. Okay, so that means suppose you have around you said that the minimum number in the set at the leaf node when you are terminating should be some 200, let us suppose. And out of 200, some 70% or 80% record should belong to one class. Like if you think, then if the threshold comes and the records are satisfied, then you will terminate it. Okay. Or sometimes what happens even if the threshold is not there, sometimes because you can't do anything, beyond that you don't want to split, then whatever is the majority case there, even though it is 50% or something, whichever is the majority there, you label it as that, because beyond that you can't split. But then what happens is, the probability for that rule will be less. Are you getting my point? Suppose you started dividing the tree. At some point of time you said a minimum threshold of 200 records should be there. So at one branch with some condition A greater than something, then B is this. Like one specific branch after traversing at the end has come down to 200 records or 205 records. We said the minimum threshold is 200. So you can't split it any further. Then in such case there is no option. You have to stop there because that's the threshold level. Then what you will do is, out of 206 records, suppose 130 belong to one class. Remaining 76 belong to one class. But still you say that that condition belongs to some class A only, because whatever majority 130 are there, you say that it belongs to that class. Don't think that you have some threshold value, maximum you have to stick like that. You can't do that. Okay? Even if it is 106 and 100 also, you say that the entire thing belongs to 106 class. Okay? There you have to terminate, no option for it. But for that the probability will be less. The probability of it could be less. Okay. And one more aspect is, on this classification, we discussed before the noise and other things, right? So those also will play a predominant role. Because what happens is, you have a training data, test data. With test data you will satisfy the things, and after that for the real time application if you use, the model may fail. Such kind of possibilities are there. But that happens because of noise and improper pre-processing of the data. So that kind of influence also will be there in the on that region. Okay. So this is how the splits are made. Now the conditioning. How do you decide the splits? What is the criteria here? Next slide, please. We will be using a greedy strategy. Split the records based on attribute test that optimizes certain criteria. What are the issues here? Determine how to split the records, how to specify the attribute test condition, how to determine the best split. These are the queries for issues for you. So determine when to stop splitting. These are the various challenges here. So next slide, please. Now we will consider how to specify the attribute test condition. That is the first one we are addressing. That means the slide is repeated, but it is highlighted which one we are focusing is being highlighted. How to specify the attribute test condition. That's what we are going at. Now depends on attribute type. So it is nominal, ordinal, continuous, I told you. Right? These are the three categories. Of course, it depends on number of ways to split. One is a two-way split, another is a multi-way split. Which split is advantageous? Next step. Next slide, please. Multi-way split. Here, the previous problem is not there. He is considering another new problem. He is considering some car type. Depending on car type, somebody wants to split some information. The car types are family car, sports car and luxury car. Okay. So what kind of car you have, based on that some kind of split. So you have three conditions there: family, sports and luxury. And binary split for the same thing, if you want to consider binary split, what are the possibilities? Sports and luxury cars as one thing, family car is another. Or family and luxury cars is one aspect, sports car is one aspect. Okay. Now what you will do is, whether this three-way split is good or your binary split is good with this condition, or binary split with this combination is good, you will check both the combinations. Okay. For which kind of split you want to go ahead. Next slide, please. Similarly, that is back, come back, go back. The first things are backslide. This is an ordinal attribute. Previously, the car type is a nominal attribute, because car type, family car and luxury car or sports car, you don't have any ordering. There is only one category of car. Whereas here, if you look at in the ordinal things, you have small size car, medium size car and a large size car. Okay. So that is one kind of split criteria. And binary split, because small, medium, large, you have an order there, right? So this is an ordinal attribute. Now in the binary split, you have to divide it into two subsets. You need to find the optimal partition. Here small and medium on one side, large on another side. Large and medium on one side and small on another side. That could be. But what about this small and large and medium? Can you accept this? Next slide please. Because there now it's here the difference here is small, large and medium, the order is not being maintained. Okay. So you should not consider this split if you are particular about the logical ordering. But if you want to forget that, it's not an ordinal attribute. It's only a nominal attribute I will consider. Though it is ordinal thing, you may consider. So it depends on the logic. So generally if you are going to consider it as an ordinal attribute, the other combination is not possible. And ఇప్పుడు అక్కడ వాళ్ళకి వినిపించదా మాట వినిపిస్తుందా వాయిస్ పిక్చర్ విన్నాను. So now what about the split? So now you have this kind of multiple splits. So which split is good? Which one do you follow? For this we have a criteria. 26 ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళిపోయింది 26 పెట్టేయాలి. Yes, right, 24 is on that, 24. So different ways of handling discrete, ఇంకా 23rd కి వెళ్ళండి. So what about the split we said? Then next slide is 24. Next slide. There are different ways of handling, because if you have continuous variables, how do you split them? Right? If you have continuous variables, how do you split them? Here, discretization to form an ordinal or categorical attribute. You have to form either a category, you have to make the continuous attribute as ordinal or categorical attribute. So how can you make that? It's easy, right? Can you please tell me how to convert one continuous variable to a categorical variable? చెప్పండి. Right, by specifying the bounds. Okay, so you have static, discretize once at the beginning. Dynamic is range can be found by equal interval bucketing, equal frequency bucketing, percentile or cluster. That means if you want to categorize, first of all, one thing is, that is a simple example I tell you. Income is there, 50,000, 60,000, 52,000, 70,000, 80,000, 85,000, 20,000, like this income is there. Now this is a continuous variable. Do you agree? Then how do you discretize that? How do you make it as a nominal or ordinal variable? How can you make this? Can you make this as a nominal variable or ordinal variable? Which makes more sense? You think over, I will give you 1 minute, because you also think. Start thinking. Not that you don't have brain, you have brain. You have to use it. Everyone has got that. Due to shortage of time, I am not stopping you in between and questioning you. That's why you are habituated to just listen to like in temple. పురాణానికి వెళ్తే అలాగా భారత యుద్ధం అవుతూ ఉంటుంది, స్టోరీ అవుతూ ఉంటుంది. అండ్ యూ జస్ట్ కీప్ లిస్నింగ్. యు ఆర్ హ్యాబిచుయేటెడ్ ఫర్ దట్, నాట్ టు యూజ్ యువర్ మైండ్. Because unless you understand this, you can't really assimilate the decision. Tell me. Ordinal, good. Why ordinal variable? Okay. Okay. You are 90% correct. Even, but only thing is the categorization is not like manager, clerk or something, but low income group, medium income group, high income group. Okay. Sometimes what happens is a much senior clerk will get more than a fresh manager. Okay. So you cannot categorize that way. That's why I corrected. But okay, I appreciate you logically thought. That's why I said 90% correct. Because you will have certain exceptions. Okay. So a senior clerk will have higher salary than you. So if you categorize that way, you will have some mistakes in that. But if you categorize low, medium, high, irrespective of designation, if you categorize, then now once you say medium, low, medium, high, very high, like you have categories, then order is very important, right? It has got prominence. So if your logic focuses on this ordering, certainly you will consider it as ordering. Very. Okay. So suppose good and bad is the categorization. There is no ordinal. It's a nominal. Yeah, good. There is nothing like good is less than bad or bad is better than good or something. Suppose your area-wise categorization. Suppose your specialization is theoretical comparison. Somebody says network. Somebody says database. Somebody says data analysis. Let us have these groups. Then can you compare anything? Each is a group. Of course, there are people who say that we are doing this. Ours is number one. Okay. But that makes no sense. You have to be good on your own. If you are good on your own, you will flourish in any of the categories. Or a person in the least ranked branch could do much better than a worst person in the best rank. So it doesn't depend on branch, depends on you. So it's only a nominal categorization. You are okay. Now he says this discretization be a static discretization or dynamic discretization. It depends on the situation. Okay, static discretization means you will fix up the categories in the very beginning clearly. Yes, this is nominal, this is medium, this is low, low medium, medium, high medium, in between something, if you want to still categorize. Okay. See, middle class, upper middle class, like you have categorization like. So that is the range we show there. Okay. So discretizing, statically you decide the classes, that is done deal. But otherwise, in some cases, you may have to dynamically perform the discretization. You will have the dynamic discretization strategy. That is, ranges can be found. How do you find? Based on equal interval bucketing. So it should be equal, that is 10k to 20k, 20k to 30k, equal interval or equal frequency. Suppose you have 10,000 records, you want to make it 10 buckets. So first 1,000 records, what is the income range? It is from 10,000 to 25,000 only, first 10,000. Then remaining 10,000 could be there from 25 to 30,000 only. With a 5,000 margin itself, we can have more people. So there the ranges will not be identical, but the number will be identical. That is a equal in frequency bucketing or percentile. Percentile classification and all I told you in the very beginning, right? Percentile. Or clustering. Clustering means you will logically group, okay, and you say that each is discretization. This cluster is 1 and another cluster is 1. Okay, right? So based on these things, you will discretize the stuff. Then, how to take a binary decision? A binary decision means you have a continuous variable. When do you get a binary decision? If you compare two numerical things, or if you connect two numerical attributes with a relational operator, to be very, very specific. Two continuous variables with a relational operator, numerical or two continuous variables, two numerical variables with a relational operator if you specify, then a logical condition will arise, right? That you have studied in your discrete maths, you have studied, right? So if you apply that condition, so you consider is A less than V or A is greater than or equal to V. So you are comparing with V means less than V, greater than or equal to V, one condition, or less than or equal to V, greater than V is another condition, whatever it is, right? They are the two possible conditions once you consider a binary split over. So consider all possible splits and find out the best. That can be more compute intensive. Here is that V, because you have continuous variables 20,000, 25,000, 30,000, 32,000, 34,000, 37,000. Like you have some continuous variables at different places. So on which value you have to split? Should be at 34 or at 68 or somewhere in between, right? So how to split that? That is a major issue there, because just splitting on some nominal ordinal attribute is fine. You will check some condition and do, but here on which value, numerical value split means it is very difficult, because ordinal variable you will have hardly 2 or 3 conditions, so 2-3 splits will be possible, but here infinite number of splits are or many splits are possible, not infinite number, because you have 1,000 records, let us suppose. These 1,000 records have around 500 unique values, let us say, because salary 20,000 can repeat for many people, right? So how many distinct values are there in this entire table? Those many splits are possible for you. Do you agree? Have you understood this? So when those many splits are there, how do you? Because this condition will be discussed in the next slide, that's why I am emphasizing. Okay? So how do you split? This is another criteria. Next slide, please. So taxable income greater than 80k, yes or no, it's a binary split. Okay. Taxable income less than 10k, 10 to 25, 25 to 50, 50 to 80, greater than 80. There are 5 splits here. These are multi-way splits. Okay. Next slide, please. Now we have how to specify the attribute test condition I have discussed. Now we will discuss how to determine the best split. Here comes your concepts. Okay. Next slide, please. Now, before splitting and how after splitting. Okay. Different conditions I am showing. I just discussed these things casually. Now, if you look at quantitatively, you get a much better feel. So, 10 records of 0 class are there, 10 records of 1 class are there. So, you have a total of 20 records in the beginning. Your DT total set is 20 records in which you have 10 of class 0 and 10 of class in equal proportion. Now the thing is, do you own a car, yes or no? On that yes. అంటే మీకు ఇందాక నేను జస్ట్ ఓవరాల్గా అలా గాలిలో చెప్పాను, ఇప్పుడు అంకెలేసి చేసి. Now the thing is, on yes side, you have 0s 5 and 1s 4. No side, you have 0s 4 and 1s 6. Okay. C0 means class consists of 0. That is the meaning of it. C0 means don't get confused. What is this? C0 means a class that consists of zeros, class 1s. That is the meaning. So here, if you asked for, there are 20 records, right? How many own a car? Okay. So on owning the car, if you split, you have 9 members, sorry, this is 6 plus 4, kada? You have 10 members owning a car, 10 members not owning a car. Okay? You have split on 10 records, 20 records are there. Your split criteria you have used, that means you have, do you own a car? That is one criteria. What is the car type is another criteria. Are you a student? Or on your student ID decomposition is another criteria. Because they want to just check. Okay. These are different conditions. Are you a student? Yes or no? Here, the attribute, do you own a car? On this, if you look at 10 members own a car and 10 members do not own a car. But on this, okay, who owns the car? On that, among the 10 members who own a car, if you look at, there are 6 members with 0 class and 4 members are with 1 class. And there are few non-car owners, you have 4 members of 0 class and 6 members with 1 class. Then, are you able to classify by dividing on this? Is the classification good? What is the criteria we expected? If you use a split criteria, if it is a good classification, means what happens? What should happen? Forget about zero entropy. Logically, what you said is right. Logically, what should happen? Yes, same type of elements must be there in one group. In the assembly, no opposition. Okay. So, but here what happened? Even if you split, in this group also you have 6 and 4. Here 4 and 6. So that means because of the split, okay, there 10 and 10 are there, but in each almost you have similar kind of unruliness. Heterogeneity is very much there, right? Suppose you split on car type. Okay. You have split the 20 records on car type. So that means here, out of 20, there are 4 members with family cars and 8 members with sports cars, 8 members are with luxury cars. Okay. అంటే మంచి బల్స్ ఉన్న వాళ్ళ థీమ్ అనమాట. అందుకని the sports car is very costly, and all rich people, they just for fun sake they drive it, and after some time they sell it up. And some have luxury cars. So it's quite rich people. There are only 4 family type car owners. So who consider the car as minimum necessity as? For them, car is a necessity. So they just got some family car and something like that. So now here, if you look at 0 type is 1 type are 3. You have 0 type A, 1 type, no members. Here you have 1 0 type and 7 1 type. Okay. So how is this split? How is this split? How is this split? How is this split? So you comment on these 2 splits, because unless you understand this concept, you cannot go. It is mandatory. లేకపోతే మీరు ఊరికే గుళ్ళో పురాణం వింటున్నట్టు. గుళ్ళో చాగంటి కోటేశ్వర పురాణం చెప్తున్నారంటే అవి అఫ్కోర్స్ అని ఏం చెప్పారో గుర్తుండకపోవచ్చు ఆయన. అలా వింటుంటే ఓకే నిద్ర వస్తుంది బాగా, ఒక కంటిన్యూస్ మాడ్యూల్ వెళ్తుంది. మాస్టర్ ఒక కంటిన్యూస్ వేవ్ లెంగ్త్లో మాట్లాడుతున్నారు, ఏసీ బాగుంది, లైటింగ్ బాగుంది, మధ్యాహ్నం 2ంటికి హ్యాపీగా మంచి ఫుడ్ పెట్టాడు హాస్టల్లో. సో అందులో కాస్త చీకటి తక్కువ కింద నుండి డార్క్ సైడ్ కూర్చుంటే ఆ ఏసీ చల్లదానికి హ్యాపీగా అనిపిస్తుంది. ఆయన నానానికి అనేది చెప్పుకుపోతాడు. అనుకుంటే ఇట్స్ ఆఫ్ నో యూస్. అలాంటప్పుడు కవరింగ్ ద సిలబస్ ఈజ్ వెరీ ఈజీ ఫర్. I think by this time I would have finished the chapter. Only covering the syllabus is the trick. Because I have all the PPTs. So each PPT I can say the points, I am done. Right? But not the aim of this type of class. This type of class is to have interaction with you, make you understand, make you learn by examples. That is the motto. In addition to, I want to actually give you the derivation why it is minus p log p. Here we are having minus p log p sigma something a straight formula. You are blindly using it. I want to actually explain you why it is like that. What is the meaning of this information? What is the meaning of information? These things I want to tell you still. If you do not understand here itself, the concept itself, there is no point in just putting down the mathematical part. The the university need not arrange this much establishment and spend a lot of money for this. And offering it free of cost. The government is making a lot of efforts on the youth. They want to make the youth productive. That is the vision of our central government and state government. They are putting all efforts because you are the hope of the country. If you just casually do something, it's not a rocket science. So what is classification? Tell me first of all, what is the criteria you wanted to have split on something? Just in previous classes you do not understand. You are standing and asking till the doubt is clarified. Felt happy, but now still you have not come out of the mood of what I know. Enjoyment section is enjoyment section. Working section. You should have both. You never say that you should not enjoy. You enjoy at this age. You cannot enjoy once you turn up 16. Perfectly. What is the aim of your classification? Right. That means you have initially are starting with some heterogeneous set. By applying some condition, you should see that the records are segregated in such a way that after segregation, same class type variables will be there in one subsplit. That is the idea. Do you agree? Now, what are all the possibilities for splitting? You have different attributes for splitting, right? So, you test on each and every attribute the split criteria. Okay? You test on each and every attribute the split criteria. So, whichever satisfies that split criteria, you can split on that. Right? That is the aim. So, now he has got different attributes. Own a car. What is the car type? So, car owner, yes or no, is one attribute. The car type is another attribute. So, you have a set of values in which the attributes are car, car type, student ID is one attribute. So, among the students they are considered. Okay. So, suppose they are considering the students of Manipal Medical College. You know Manipal Medical College admission, the fee and all? 1 crore for MBBS. No, or 2 crores for. If you pay 2 crores, you will get a license. So, let us suppose Manipal Medical College. About students, they have considered a set of 20 Manipal Medical College students, let us. And they are now, they have the things like, does the student owns a car, or still even if they do not own a car also, say that all are using cars. Some rental car or friend's car they may be. but what type of car they will be using. And the student ID is there. So the student ID, does he own a car or what type of car he is using. So there are 20 students they have taken for a sample survey. Getting my logic? I hope you got the background of this problem. Now the thing is, we wanted to classify. There are some 10 members of class 0 and 10 members of class 2. So let us suppose class 0 is very bright students, class 1 is poor students, let us suppose. So among the 20 candidates they have tested, they have taken up 10 members are bright students, 10 members are poor students. Okay, but the idea here is all of them are there, they are using car, everybody is coming by car. So easy owning a car, or what is the car type and what is the student ID. These are 3 attributes they have. Now we want to classify. So one classification is owner of a car. Yes, sir. Okay. So here it is found that 10 members are car owners, 10 members are not the car owners. They are equal, they are in equal ratio. Okay, fine, that is good. Next thing is, out of the car owners, 6 members are bright, 4 members dull. And out of the non-owners, 4 members are bright and 6 members are dull. Okay, normally I said 1 for dull, right? 0 for. Otherwise you think that 1 is for intelligent and 0 is for dull. Okay, let it. Because that's the convention are habituated. So if I reverse it, so 0 are dull people, 1 are bright people. Now in this own a car, there are 6 dull people who own a car. So 4 non-car owners are also dull. Here 4 members are dull people who doesn't own a car and 6 members are bright people who doesn't own a car. Now that is one split entity. Another thing is on car type. In this section, 4 members are using family car, 4 members are using family car, 8 members are using sports car, 8 members are using luxury car. Okay. So if you categorize by car type they are using, that means they need not be owners. It could be either rented or friend car or whatever it is. Okay. They, out of them 20, if you look at, when they are using a car, 4 members are only by family cars. Among the 4 members who are coming on by family car, 1 is a dull candidate and 3 members are bright candidates. And sports cars who are using, all of them are dull candidates. Okay. Nobody is a bright candidate. And among the people using luxury cars, 1 is only dull candidate and 7 bright candidates. Okay. Student ID wise means each student 1 to 20. The ID was CD 0, 1, 0. Either is talented or dull. You have 10 categories, 20 categories. Student ID 1, 2, 3 up to 20 roll numbers. So roll number 1 is bright, 2 is bright, 3 is dull, 4 is bright, 20 is dull. That is how the bifurcation. Now, which split is good? Is this good or this is good? Which is good? Second one, right? Don't murmur, say loudly. Say confidently, say loudly, say that for what reason you have said that is good. If it is wrong, nothing wrong, I am not to cut your head, right? I don't have guillotine here inside if you say wrong answer. Cut. Have you studied Tale of Two Cities? Tale of Two Cities, how do you believe it? Here the thing is, first of all, which is the best split we said? Second one you said. For what reason? Why you said second one is the best? Right. That means after classification, what did you say? If you have a split criteria, because of the split criteria, if the elements segregate in such a way that one category of things stay in one section, then it is a good classification or a good split criteria. Because what is down the line your idea? You should have some conditions applied, but finally the leaf node should contain only one category of elements. That is your criteria. Do you agree with me? So here, is this car owner satisfying that condition? No. Because if you say car owner yes and no, they are 10 and 10. Again 5 and 4, 6 and 4 and 4 and 6 is the combination there. Right? So, is it able to classify them as good or bad? No. అంటే ఏంటన్నమాట, కార్ ఓనర్ అవ్వడం, దట్ క్రైటీరియా డజంట్ హ్యావ్ ఏ బేరింగ్ ఆన్ ఇంటెలిజెంట్ ఆర్ నాట్ ఇంటెలిజెంట్. ఓకే, బేస్డ్ ఆన్ కార్ టైప్ యూ కెనాట్ సే దట్ just if he is a owner of the car, he is brilliant. And can you make a statement from this? You can't make, because they are almost equal proportion. Similarly, if you do not own a car, you are a bright person. Can you make a statement? Classification? No, you cannot make, because you have 4 and 6. Whereas, you can say that if somebody owns a sports car, he is a dull candidate. You can make a statement. Right? Because of the split criteria, you have almost conclusion, because a leaf node is obtained with all same cluster. Okay? This is like saying the people in Krishna district and Guntur district are violent. Okay? In East Godavari, they are silent but violent. Right? So people say like that. I am just talking about only what people say explicitly. How could they say? They might have tested some number of people and they would have derived at something. The people say, people in Rayalaseema, they are very open. Okay? Either they love or they kill. They will be at the extremes. That's what people generally say. In a similar fashion. Not that every Rayalaseema person is like that, and not that every East Godavari person is like that. And with time, there will be lot of migrations, because they are the things when only people were confined to their own region. But now there is lot of industrialization. Various people come here now. North Indians stay here, and South Indians from Karnataka and other places come here. Once it becomes cosmopolitan, then that kind of classification is no more valid. But this is long back. Okay. So, this is how you have the stuff. So here, a family car. Yes, only one dull person is there, 3 members are bright. So you can say that the people using family car and luxury car are brilliant, and people using sports cars, they are dull. Okay, that means sports car they enjoy maximum time, they bunk the classes and they don't bother. Not that they are not dull candidates. They have other avocations, so don't bother. Okay? Luxury car, okay, they have some affordability, so they have a luxury car, and but they are still focusing on their studies. So that is how you can come. Now on student ID, I told you, this is a perfect zero entropy case, but still it worked out that classification. We don't want that classification, right? No doubt you have 20 classes, very good, entropy is 0 there. Here the entropy is 0, 0, 0, 0 totally. Everywhere only, you have only one category of things. Okay? But still, it is of no use for you. So there the rules will come like roll number 1 brilliant, roll number 2 dull, roll number 3 bright, roll number 4 bright, roll number 5 dull. Like you will have, and it doesn't matter, that is no good for you. Absolutely not. Okay? But whereas what is the kind of knowledge you want to have from there is, yes, if the person has this quality and other quality and this, then they are good. So that also should have sufficient background, sufficient supporting evidence should be there for them. If you test 2 people and say that, okay, all these people are bad. No. You have to have sufficient support for your logic. Okay? But here you have a reasonable support. For sports luxury, for family, of course, the quantity is less, but can generalize it. Probably this solution might fail in some cases, in real-time cases, because you have taken this decision based on very taken this decision. Next slide, please. So now greedy approaches, nodes with homogeneous class distribution are preferred. So need a measure of node impurity. So here C0 5, C1 5, suppose out of 10 records, is non-homogeneous, high degree of impurities. Okay. The second one is homogeneous, low degree of impurity. If it is 10-0, it is perfect. But at least 9-1, some impurity is there, but it is almost homogeneous. Okay. Next slide, please. So the measures of node impurity are Gini index, entropy, and misclassification error. Misclassification error, you need not worry much, but Gini index and entropy are the 2 things basically. You go ahead. Next slide, please. So, how to find the best split? I think I'll just show you this and I'll stop. And remaining discussion we can continue tomorrow. So, the best split is C0, N00 elements are there, C1, N01 elements are there. The total is M0, let us say, the total amount. Now, you have split on A, some attribute. You have A and B 2 attributes are there. Now, node 1 and node 2 are split, are obtained if this is. So, you have N10, N11 of C0 and this thing, and C0 and C1, N20 and N21 numbers. Those N20, 21 are the numbers. It's not a 20, 21, please remember. Second partition for 0 elements. Node 2 for 0 elements, node 2 for 1 elements. Node 1 for 0 elements and node for 1 elements. Node 1. Elements 1, that is the meaning there. Okay, C0, C1. So that is, let us suppose M1 is the number, M2 is the number. So total M1 plus M2 will be your M12. With this split, the number M3, M4 that together is M34. Now we say that gain is, that is M0 there. Some entropy measure you will have. That is M0 minus M12. That means you will do is, instead of showing this mathematically, what I will show is you have to find out some index such that if you split on A, node 1 and 2, there are two splits. The numbers are there. So here M1 is measure 1. The measure 1 for this node is computed. Measure 2 for, measure is, let us suppose, entropy. So M0 is the entropy for the unsplit class. M0 is the entropy of unsplit class. M1 and M2 are the entropies of the split class. So M1 plus M2 is equal to M12. That is the combined entropy of split classes. Now the gain is considered as your M0 minus M12 if you split A. And you are splitting on B. Splitting on B, you have another kind of condition. M3 is for node 3, M4 is for node 4. That is the split criteria of those two nodes. You sum it up, it is M34, and M0 minus M34 is the gain for this split. Now in these two things you will consider this gain versus this gain, and whichever is the best split between these two, that means wherever gain is more, that means M0 minus M12, M0 minus M34 you will consider. Whichever is bigger among these two, you will split on that first. If M0 minus M34 is more, M0 is the common, same value. Let us say it is 1 before. 1 minus this is, let us say, 0.8 for A, 0.2 for B, let us suppose. Then 1 minus 0.2 is 0.8 for B and 0.2 for A, because there it is 0.8, right? 1 minus 0.8 is 0.2. So gain is much less in A, more in B. So first you apply the criteria of B. Okay? Is it fine? That is how you have to consider which is the best split. So how do you calculate this gain and what are the numbers and everything, we will see tomorrow.